Sports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ESL Pro League. I am joined by Semler and Vendetta once again. And tonight, we have some pretty good games. But before we get into those, let's speed straight on to yesterday's matches. So first off, obviously, it was a pretty big game. We're going to get them on your screens in just a moment. It was, of course, Astralis sweeping aside Mousesports in a simple 2-0. Tricky one to start with on Mirage, but very easy on Dust2. Then, of course, NiP. Well, they managed to get a 2-0 over FaZe, who themselves had a number of player issues throughout those games. Not really a competitive game. 4v5 in the end on Dust2. So very simple stuff. Let's spin on straight away into the league table and see how that affects us. Almost caught. Almost caught. Mid-dance there on Semler. So Astralis now top of the league. Fnatic and NiP both 7-1. So very good start for all of those guys. NiP, of course, in action tonight up against Virtus.Pro. The first time they'll be facing each other since November. Long time ago for those guys. And then, of course, it's the Frenchies. They're both up against each other. It is Envious and G2. How are Envious going to do with Devil coming in? We'll be talking about that in just a moment. But let's get those matches on your screen, of course. Actually, tell a lie. First, we're going to talk about how much actually is up for grabs in this league, because obviously we're seeing three teams up there very much running away with it. You can see the prize money. Bearing in mind, Virtus.Pro are way down there right now, 1-11. 3.5k would not be good for them. Obviously, they've used to fighting for the big prizes. All the way up to 27k, you can see at 5th place. And then, of course, when you get 1st to 4th, that's when the big cash starts stepping in. Everybody that even qualifies gets to 31k, and then 200k up for grabs right at the top. A lot of big change. You're just gonna deal with it now.
It's committed to it. I do have just like a nice little burn to put in there too. You keep offering them up, and I'm really good about it. I'm really good. I don't cut you off. I let you finish your sentence. But I think VP should be happy with what they can get these days. And 30, 35, 31. It still goes a long way in Poland. Right? Still good. So
well, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Let's get the matches on your screen to figure out exactly what is going on tonight. It is going to be VP versus NiP to start with on Cash and Overpass. Now be followed by G2 versus Envious, and that's also on Cash, and this time Train. So let's move on briefly. I can see that we've got 9 in the server already, so we're not going to have a great deal of time to talk about this, so we might as well just jump straight into VP and NiP. Both had I wouldn't say great performances at IEM. They were average performances. NiP showed improvements. VP, well, they made it out of groups. Probably shouldn't have, but it worked in their favor.
Well, that's really why VP need to be making so much money in these tournaments, right? Really get deep into the tournaments, because basically what is happening is they're probably giving a percentage to the last year that they played in the groups, right? Hey, we'll cut you 20% if you let us through, right?
Do you think FaZe is just like, yeah, sure?
Exactly. All right, clearly, because FaZe, VP wouldn't have made it out of that group unless FaZe, somehow, allowed them to defuse 1v5 with stacks.
Yeah. Divine intervention.
Exactly. Gaben, he was watching. Actually, Gaben just doesn't watch CSGO. He doesn't seem to care about CSGO.
Doesn't seem to care about Dota for that matter either.
Until one time, he just turns up on Reddit.
And he's going to say, Semler is an ass. We can't. I don't want him within 1,000 miles of
once he figures out
event.
Once he figures out you and Too Good have got a history, you're in trouble, man.
I'm more worried about Bruno, actually, but.
Anyway, but NiP, we saw them obviously yesterday. Can't really judge a great deal on it. 4v5. I think we can still keep going by what they did at IEM, though. Pretty good performance overall. Very close. Could have been. They ended up 2 and 3, but it could have been a 4 and 1 easily.
Yeah, no, I think their IEM performance was better than expected, at least for me, because I didn't expect anything at all.
From who? From NiP?
NiP. Yeah, and I guess if you want to talk about result-wise, VP definitely surprised going through the group because I expected absolutely nothing out of them.
Agreed.
So for VP, sure, the results were great, but it's like you said, that VP phase game, that should just be erased from history.
Never again.
Yeah, never again. Exactly. So
it never happened.
So yeah, no, VP result-wise did better than NiP, but I think NiP had the better performance out of the two teams.
Yeah, yes, and NiP show progress, whereas VP it's like utter chaos when you watch them play right now, which is why I think maybe we can actually see a good game out of VP tonight. You want to hear why?
Yeah, please do tell.
Online match, best of ones. VP don't have to care because they're already doomed in the group.
But I think they already don't care.
Yeah, no, but exactly.
That's the pressure's off now.
Exactly, there's no pressure left, right? And if they can finally remember how to play that beautiful CS of just, not giving any word, that like the smallest crap, right? When you do the phase symbol, this is how much, the VP care right now, right?
The size of Moses.
Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear that on the stream, but like Moses just went, wow. But yeah, that's the thing, man. VP just don't care, and that's when some teams can be at their most dangerous, right? Because there's nothing to lose now. You're just messing around on that server, and it makes it really difficult to actually play against that sometimes.
They are in a relegation spot right now. The 12th place is auto relegation. You've got to feel they're going to dig out of that a little bit.
At some point, eventually.
But you don't want to go down at auto-relegated out of Pro League. That would be a lot of money you're losing out on, and sponsor-wise, team-wise, everyone's going to be like, what the hell's happened, guys?
Yeah, disaster.
Yeah.
One of the issues for me is the fact that VP have never been an online game team. They've been the kind of guys who barely scrape through an online stage to make it to a playoff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then they become Virtus.Pro, and now they're not looking like anything at all. They looked pretty much like scrapyard.
That's rough to say. Material. And now you've got rumors going around. It's like, oh, Oscar, he's had team. People.
Apparently he is joining someone.
Yeah, and apparently this is a team that is like higher up in the
echelons.
Bialy
didn't have a great tournament.
Well, Bialy hasn't had a great tournament.
It's still the longest standing team now, isn't it? That's stuck
I think YNK was about to have some hemorrhage happen basically when it was Cash versus
I think he had that yesterday
and
with
he's
Mouse.
like, Bialy literally plays 2 spots on this map, NBK quarter or yellow. Yeah. Molotov him, just throw a Molotov. All you need to do. He was flipping out. I thought that the green room, there's a lot of fragile stuff in there. Basically, had to escort YNK out before he did thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Could have done the Rockstar move, just trash the entire place.
Flipping tables and stuff.
He was this close,
Well, before we get flipping tables here, guys, we're going to jump over to the casters because apparently 9th round is about ready to go. It's going to be Ninjas in Pajamas versus Virtus.Pro, and it's Lauren and Itty Bitty Moses.
I'm worried about you.
Why am I all of a sudden itty bitty?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not taking part in this.
We got these freakishly
mockery.
large giants, and they think I'm small or something. It's not cool. Someone's got those awkward orangutan legs.
Hey, I'm not taking part in this. All right, I'm stepping aside. You can be Itty Bitty Moses. He can be orangutan arms. I don't mind.
We'll take care of him later. Either way, going into this match, the VP NiP.
Yes.
I actually think that I actually disagree with the desk about Virtus.Pro not caring about this match, because the one thing coming up that at least the leadership guys like Taz, who noticeably shaken with this slump that Virtus.Pro is in, they have the major coming up in a couple weeks. So anything they can do, any kind of success that they can have to try and build some of this momentum, I think is crucially important to them.
I don't disagree. I just don't know if everyone feels the same way. We've seen enough of these teams now getting to the point where, let's say, 2 or 3 members set, on trying to improve, putting in the hours, and maybe 2 just aren't there yet. These kind of small breaks in the team have caused a hell of a lot of rifts. And as you said, though, Virtus.Pro have a lot to aim for now. Katowice behind them, something they probably don't want to be reminding themselves of. They now need to focus towards that major. It is very, very close now. These are games where you have to practice everything. You don't want to bring out your little tricks up the sleeve, but you've got to be running these games like it's a very serious ordeal. And then, of course, you put in the relegation spots into question. There's a lot on the line here for Virtus.Pro. Not necessarily good things, but a lot of things now weighing on them to bring a performance. But we'll be going into this one. It looks like Virtus.Pro will be on the T side and NiP on the CT side. Now, I want to get your thoughts actually on this one as well. NiP's performance throughout Katowice was swing up in the right direction, but can this continue? Are they going to hit a brick wall? How do you think they're faring at the moment?
I think they're faring all right. I think it's much the same. Both these teams are in very similar spots. They have to build up towards the major. And right now, actually, Exist has been spotted out. Oh, the Molotov misses, though, so he's going to be comfortable. A little bit warm in that back corner, and VP's now got the angle. I don't know if they have realized. No, they didn't realize that he's there. They didn't spot him out. Taz does trade that kill, but Snacks has already fallen.
This is a very different approach from Virtus.Pro on this pistol round. Taking over mid a bit late, but look at Get right around the back. He's going to spot these players out. 3 players spotted, 2 up highway. Takes the time on Bialy. completely destroys him. Now Pit just going to be watching that cross through. Going to get pressured down, and actually Neo does come up with the goods, but by now he's pretty much surrounded, and Neo's going to get picked up. A bit of a strange one there from Virtus.Pro.
Well, everywhere they went, they just kind of lost one player in every single battle, and even though the trades, that flank from Get Right kind of was the nail in the coffin. It really ended things. Smart play, though, to get aggressive on Truck, at least buy yourself some space to see if you can get that plant down, but the rest of NiP, I mean, they were just so aggressive on the rotates and pushing up everywhere that they're able to find them before they get the plant in. And now a little bit of an investment by Virtus.Pro. They do buy some nades, some flashbang, 2 smokes, just to get a plant down. They have no armor. They have upgraded pistols, but NiP, meanwhile, a lot of rifles on board.
Wow, really have upgraded on this one. Don't want to lose that second round, clearly. And, well, as you said, there's no armor on Virtus.Pro, so this should be quite comfy for NiP. They really shouldn't be losing players, but going for those longer time smokes, I guess, from doing it around the back by Squeaky, they're going to be put into play, and now it's going to be Exist, and gets really overwhelmed. That's a little lackluster from Exist there. It's now meant the complete A site is control of Virtus.Pro. They can at minimum get a plant out of this. Pasha's now on the flank. Neo's pushed up close. He's going to get taken out by Forest, but still, bomb's now planted for minimal investment. This is still not a bad round.
Yeah, and because of all these rifles, there's very little utility for this retake. Yeah, Pasha's in a huge playmaking spot, and he spots 2 coming up, and he's going to take his time, being very patient. Trigger discipline, but Get Right spotted him out. He does fall anyways. Is traded immediately by Freiburg. Now the retake is on Pit, taking some fire from Door, but this should just be a mop-up. Taz is going to get found, and Snack's the only one left alive. He gets taken out through the door, so 2 players fall for NiP, and Virtus.Pro, they can't hold it off, but the plant is all they wanted.
Considering they took Exist down and Get Right, that's actually pretty impressive, and I'm a little surprised that NiP let them get away with that much, but then again, another round on the board, building up to the win. They should be fine if they keep along this sort of road, but then again, Virtus.Pro coming in, showing they've got some good ideas into this one already. Pasha on that flank was absolutely lovely, and wow, okay, they're going in on the investment here. Yeah,
they're going to buy here. I thought it was definitely a possibility, obviously, with that plant. When you get a plant in these first 2 rounds, you can buy no matter what into the third if you want, but they are a little bit light on nades. They used one of their smokes just now, so they've got 2 remaining, as well as a couple flashbangs. But with 4 AK-47s, it should be alright. They should feel comfortable to take some duels with these weapons. It's just look at the nades on the NiP side. Still a couple smokes up. The Molotov on Forest as well. So for VP, it's going to be all winning the duels, and Pit's going to open things up.
Yeah, Pitt going to open that checkered account already. Pasha going down is going to give away the game. They know they've got rifles now coming through, so maybe a different posturing from NiP into this one, being a little more cautious, but it looks like a presence towards A again. Exist tries to push up a little bit further this time, a little bit paranoid about mid, but still gets pressured, and the rest of Virtus.Pro start to flex themselves in towards the side. They found Exist, but Get Right has been playing this quite calm, quite collected, and waits for his time to pounce, and actually he can deny the bomb plant. He does. He just bulldozes into the site, gets down 2, and a little bit of a sloppy crossfire from Virtus.Pro will allow that Ninja amongst the mix, and now Bialy and Neo having to go pretty much to town on this one.
Yeah, now Bialy's in a really, really tough spot, 1-on-2, but that's a nice shot onto Force. Already very low, but it wouldn't have mattered with that headshot. Now down into the 1-on-1, planning very risky in the open, and Freiburg's coming around the corner. Bialy's not ready for it. He does fall. He picks the wrong angle where he believes that Freiburg is coming from, thinks he's coming from A main. Turns to look that direction at the last second. So NiP off the back of that play by Get Right to just be able to storm into that bomb site using the smoke perfectly. Aggressive on the retake. 3-0 now for NiP. That plant is going to help Virtus.Pro moving forward, but for now they should just kind of... Actually, you know what? They could buy here. They did bring that down into a 1-on-1. The money is low for NiP, so a win would... I mean, that would be an aggressive call to buy up in the round, but a win would reset the money of NiP.
Interesting purchases from Virtus.Pro as well. 2 mollies coming out, a flash and a smoke here and there. They've a light investment, I guess. They could have maybe got a couple pieces more, but want to make sure they get that full buy coming in the next couple of rounds.
With just 2 Molotovs and a smoke, you assume this would be like a smoke for maybe like over at the A bomb site for Highway, and then Molotov out, you know, the MBK corner. Look at this boost though from there. He's still being so aggressive on the CT side. Think back towards pistol round. Here he's going to spray 2 down, even gets the 3rd. That's decimated before they can even use the Molotov. So no point in talking about them now. Thanks a lot, Get Right.
He just likes ruining your point. The King of Spray is certainly enjoying this one. Snacks will at least find him, but there's another couple of hurdles to get past, one being Exist, and the second Pit already making his way through towards Highway. He's going to be supporting this. And Virtus.Pro, if they can find a plant now, this would be a bit of a miracle, but they have actually taken down Exist. So, again, keeping options open. Good bit of damage comes out, allows Pasha the chance now. Still not got himself a weapon. He should be able to pick one up somewhere. The bomb's going to go down safe this time, but they've got 2 players alive. Freiburg can just swing into it. get it done, and actually no plant came through in the end for Virtus.Pro either.
Yeah, but the bonus money is built up, as well as the plant from the last 2 rounds. They're going to have plenty of money to buy here. Might be a little light if they want to go for an AWP, which would be interesting to see. Neo is at 5,400, and he's just going to go for the AK-47. So 5 smokes, 5 Molotovs on the terrorist side. That was a really good round. Look at the money for NiP. Like 4 members below $1,000 to get that many kills in what was like a 2-on-4 situation. 2-on-5 actually at one point. That's actually huge for Virtus.Pro. So they're at least keeping the money low for NiP. And the defense, I mean, the Ninjas, they have to find some way to stabilize this economy.
It's going to be the next piece on pretty much on the horizon for these guys in Pit. Already switching up with Exist here. Both of them playing very present in mid. I guess against Envy, Virtus.Pro were pretty damn good at actually taking that mid control, constantly overwhelming. It was actually Taz generally doing the work, which is a little bit... Oof, just swings a little too far, but they could go for it. The counter boost is coming in. This could be a disaster. They're both pretty close to this, but one's got a smoke out. He's just seen that going. Exist can do so much damage here. Here we go. Can he make the most of it? Yes, he just about trades out in the end, but he knows that Bialy's here. But then again, Bialy knows someone had to boost him up. Couldn't spot out Pit in the end, so he will win that duel out. Now 4v3. Virtus.Pro just start piling in towards Pit, and he's having a great time and a good game so far. The rest of Virtus.Pro, they're looking towards A, still have to get past Get Right. Snax finds an angle, takes down Get Right, and they have the site to hand. Now the bomb plant's pretty much secured at this point.
Yeah, good trades in mid for NiP, but meanwhile, Virtus.Pro makes that aggressive call to take over A, and once again, in the open. Oh, and Neo's completely blind, but no one from NiP is peeking that. Being a little bit cautious about the angle, but Force just executes Snax, and it's all down to 1-on-3, and Neo, not much you can do except land that shot.
He spotted out both players. He could maybe work something out from this. That's a shame. Freiburg's baffled, though, but he will spout the bomb in the end. It's a bit of a sneaky plant, I guess. You know, but high risk.
Yeah, well, the benefit of it is he can evacuate a little bit. So if he plants in the default spot, you can see Forrest has the angle, and then it's really, really difficult for him to switch up his position. But I can't believe he almost made this work. That was a really nice shot, winning this battle as well. But you can just see Freiburg with the aggression, just not slowing down, not letting him have time to recover and get any kind of information of where Freiburg's going to be coming from. But another plant allows a buy and 4 kills as well. Still, the money for NiP is not good. Losing 1 round is going to reset the money. They'll have to be forced into a save. So I mean that's the silver lining for VP. If they can finally make this work, they have 2 members stuck at sandbags. Pasha's going to win the first battle. That's Pit down. Exist responds onto Bialy, and now it's Pasha again who's got to win this fight, but Exist is just wreaking havoc.
Great stuff from Exist. I guess you're so stuck here, you might as well make the most of it. Perfect flash allows him another shot at it. That's 3, not going to get the 4th there as Taz will finally stop that, but while it happens, Get Right's already getting anxious. He's walked his way through main, but they are in mid at the moment. They've actually hit the brakes here. Forrest is pushing out on B, so they know roughly these guys have got to be in mid. They could have maybe gone up highway. There's options aplenty, but NiP's still thinking they're going to be around here.
Well, and Virtus.Pro has just slowed things down, waiting for these kind of aggressive plays, because Get Right's been super aggressive when this happened. Snax doesn't expect that angle whatsoever, although he can't land the shot. They're both incredibly low, and that's going to force Virtus.Pro out middle. Now they have the entire map available to him.
One flash comes through. That was from Get Right all the way around the back, but Forrest is hunting again. He's stuck himself by checker, so he knows they didn't go vent. Get Right's going to find out they haven't gone highway to A, so it's going to be a trickle through of information that Forrest is going to be the one to try and keep this, I guess, as safe as possible. He's going to spot the first lovely connection towards Snax, and now just Taz left with 9 HP. He's got a smoke, but that's not going to equate to much now, but 30 seconds. Get Right still not left the site on A as well, so they're trying to keep this one as safe as possible, and Forrest will find both of them. Good stuff in the end from NiP, but these rounds are close, but they're winning out these battles so many times now.
Yeah, this could be easily, I mean, another situation gone the way of Virtus.Pro with how many times we've seen these close rounds. But now without a plant, Virtus.Pro, this is the decision. They're going to save into it, so they're going to do a little bit of a half. I saw a force up, not a save. They do get the armor, the upgraded pistol, some utility. Try and keep doing some damage to NiP. Try and get another plant down. Next round, they're going to have plenty of money as they do have the full losing bonus. But you can see that last round, how much emphasis both teams are putting on this mid control. We've seen a lot of presence there from NiP. VP finally gets some decent trades into it. It just doesn't work out their way in the end in the 2-on-2. Now, again, Virtus.Pro going back towards mid control. Exist is going to open things up, though. He's been very, very active these past couple rounds.
Well, every time it's against any form of eco of that variety, he'll pull himself over towards the A side, play up on the balcony. Pit gets left to pretty much solo mid, but he's in a bit of a retractable spot, I guess, but this is going to be a bit awkward. He's going to be pinched in on, but again, with the support of Exist, these two are playing very well off each other. It's meant that now just Pasha's going to try and run it over towards somewhere to get a kill, maybe do anything, but Forrest waited very patiently, and the scoreline's looking pretty disastrous, Moses. 7-0 already. Yeah, the rounds are close, but if you're not turning any of them into a round win, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, it really does. And now especially that NiP is able to survive with multiple members instead of it coming down into a one-on-one or 2 members surviving for NiP. This time they get to build up some cash money behind these wins. So they have the ability to sustain some damage into these rounds.
Cash money, really?
Yeah, you like that?
Love it. Absolutely love it. But we are going to finally get to see Neo as well on the AWP. So maybe a difference, as you said, finally able to get that full purchase and finally get to go for that investment. And Freiburg's actually pushed up this time with, I assume that's Forrest there, just popping up in towards the vents. And not really a mid this time for Virtus.Pro, a bit of a rarity. Maybe trying to work the extremities of the map instead.
Yeah, well, when you get beat up there so often, you've got to fall away from it. What's very interesting is going to be how they decide to utilize Neo with this AWP. And also, they have to be wary, and they should know this. Virtus.Pro have experienced how aggressive GetRight is going to be in these mid and late round. Think back to Pistol round. It was another round where he has a big flank coming up. So he's been very, very aggressive. All of NiP on the CT side, actually. Oh, look at this. Drop out of the vents. Freiburg gets Molotov, but he doesn't run all the way. There's a flashbang, and Neo can't time it perfectly, but Freiburg is brought down to 12. He's also dinked up Pasha, and now with the cover of smoke, he's able to get away. So a small missed opportunity by Virtus.Pro off the back of a good play by Freiburg just to stay alive.
And Snacks has just gone straight into checkers as well. He's going to commit relatively heavily towards this, as there is 3 players here, but while all this happens, Taz is slowly but surely working his way towards A. So if Snacks can maybe get their attention, that's great. But while this happens, if GetRight's still holding his nerve, there's still a problem to be dealt with. Freiburg's found Neo, and considering how low Freiburg was originally, he's done great work. Now Taz, can he get even a sneaky plant out of this? There, oh, that's going to give it away. GetRight knows he's here now, and the rest of NiP playing very passive. Pit did lose complete mid control, but now supporting GetRight. Pasha going to smoke out. Bomb's down, but right through the smoke. Virtus.Pro getting no breaks here now as Taz going to have to go 1v5. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck's a good way to put it. And he's going to swing out, and there is a corner in that smoke that GetRight has. He holds it perfectly. It's going to be 8-0 for NiP. This is actually a really, really cool defense that we're seeing out of NiP. Very mobile, and it's a change that we haven't seen in some time. Is just how they're reacting to pressure across the map. They're being very mobile, all of them, making sure they have 3 members at the point of the attack. Whenever they feel like Virtus.Pro is going to get aggressive, like that round over towards the B bomb site, a very swift rotation from Exist to come help out. That was really sick stuff from NiP, and then you can see, just watch the mini-map when you see kind of Virtus.Pro apply pressure anywhere. You're going to see all those blue dots just running around.
And this is the thing, Exist hasn't been massive on the scoreboard yet. He's on 7 kills. It's perfectly fine. Everyone's very well rounded from them, but his kills have been perfectly placed to position. So whether it's the pressure on mid, where he supports Pit perfectly, or swings over towards A, when he might be expecting a play from this, and Virtus.Pro going extremely fast towards it. GetRight is already in Squeaky. This could cause a problem. He shut the door behind him. They don't know he's there, but Exist will trade out, but he's got the info. Now GetRight needs to pay perfect attention towards the time. He's already found Taz. He's going to make this such a pain in the ass to work with. He's going to molly down the bomb site by the time for Pit to come around. Neo's coming through mid, but while this happens, it's too late in the day. Pit's gone up on the, on the ledge, but gets punished for that little bit of confidence that he may have been building up then.
GetRight's such a nuisance in this round. That's so annoying.
Everything he did was annoying.
He gets into door, he bides his time, he gets the bomb down, then he drops a Molotov on the bomb. Virtus.Pro drops a Molotov in the doorway to block GetRight from being more aggressive, which just means they can't chase him down, and they have to wait for the Molotov on the bomb. That buys so much time for the members to rotate to get the intel. And now Neo is just stuck in a really, really tough spot. He's got 2 kills already, but so low. This is looking like it's going to be another round for NiP, and they're going to play it passively. GetRight and Freiburg sticking together, and actually they're wandering away from the A site, checking the flank together. This is the big thing. Even if they let the plant come down, since there's so much bonus money built up, the maximum, it's not a huge deal to allow the plant. That just means you know he's going to be isolated in the site. So this play by NiP to stick together is actually really, really smart, and now they've spotted him out.
And I love the way this offsets the timing as well for Neo. He's not too sure what he can achieve here, and GetRight's going to be able to spot him out from the truck, and there you have it. Really nice play from NiP. Just not necessarily confidence, but just having faith in themselves to get to these spots, work together on the retake. There was 2 of them alive, of course, so credit where it's due. Again, good play from them, not just being hap-handed with it, going, guys, it's only one guy, we can just take the fight. No, they played it out perfectly. They knew they had the bomb, and again, as you said, with so many rounds built up now, they're pretty comfortable on money. It is starting to form up, even though it wasn't the perfect, I guess, economy run of things. It was pretty close for a while. Those rounds weren't clean. Now they're well set. You know, you've got a lot of money already on Freiburg. They're barely dying.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even though they take three deaths in that round, they take a lot of damages, a lot of rebuys, but they've been able to build up the money finally. So that's silver lining of Virtus.Pro that they used to have for the first 6-7 rounds of this, where if they had just won one of them, they would have reset and been able to close the gap. It's now gone. And Gabright, oh, he's still just being a jerk.
He really is, though, because as soon as you're this aggressive once, there's going to be always that thought in your back of your mind. And when he sprays down like that, it's absolutely insane. Hell, he was even paranoid there was a third then, just snuck through the smoke, but no. Oh, finally, he gets put down. Finally! Now there's a little bit of an assistance from Snackson as well through the back of it, but Taz was the one to claim. So, as you said, such a nuisance play coming out. And again, a very clear picture that they wanted to go towards A then. Not going to go there, though.
And these are the rotations too I'm talking about. Look at that. Getright gets killed, he gets 2 kills, he has a lot of info, and Forrest, I mean, all the way across the map, rotates over, making sure they still have 3 members there. Now that one's spotted back, Forrest is just going to sprint over towards the B bomb sites. This is extremely mobile, and any more pressure from VP is going to cause Exist to start cheating this way over. And Taz is extremely low. That death cannot be taken. Forrest finds 2, and he is just, I mean, this is just heartbreak for Virtus.Pro. Now everything collapses.
Yeah, Taz kind of in no man's land here. He's going to be at least allowed to find Pit, but they're hanging around in pairs at this point, and there you have it. Exist will be the one to claim it. 10-0. This is a devastating scoreline, but as you said, their CT side is very mobile. It's well poised as well. Excuse me, Freiburg didn't take too much time on the fight. Then he got enough information. He went back out to be able to put a flash down, a smoke down, and then he played the bomb site perfectly, allowing time for the rotate to come out, not taking a fight and then giving it up. Sure, he was pretty low on HP, but he stayed alive long enough. So, again, this is the mentality that people are starting to see in NiP that maybe wasn't there before. That's actually quite scary to handle if they're playing this really nice repose game, and see if it keeps up, though. Again, this is Virtus.Pro not exactly having the best time of their lives right now, and Forrest is going to line him up and try and knock him down. Good little crossfire with Pit as well coming in. There's Freiburg, and this is an absolute slaughter. Not even just this round.
No, now the entire half is just starting to weigh really heavy on Virtus.Pro. This is where you kind of start to see some cracks forming and everything. I mean, if you didn't already see them in the before this, but I mean, also throughout this half, Virtus.Pro's actually been, aside from a couple rounds, some of the rounds they've tried to get mid control, there's been really poor trading from Virtus.Pro. A lot of the NiP members are able to get multi kills, whether it's on a rotate, whether it's the initial point of attack. I think Getright and A main gets those 2 kills. So Virtus.Pro's not doing a great job of even, I mean, that's the thing, even finding kills.
Yep. And you look back at their recent results, I guess, for Virtus.Pro. The one that stands out was their victory over Envy, ignoring the atrocity that was the FaZe game. Just move that away. As Semler said, it doesn't exist anymore.
No, it exists.
The point is that Taz was one of the players on the T side who was absolutely integral to them opening up mid, controlling mid. Then you had Bialy finally finding some form. Pasha started to play well. All these pieces suddenly came together, but not again. Surely they know it this time. It's Freiburg. Now here we go. Last time it was Exist boosted up here. And once he sees this, he might just go on it. There we go. Waits for it to come over, but Taz this time was aware. He was a little bit of a presence of mind, but Pitt still being I guess, a bit of a nuisance himself. Takes control in mid, but finally a little bit of a glimpse of the old Bialy comes out with 2 kills picked up, but it doesn't equate to anything at this point. That bomb's heading to B, and it's going to be Forrest. Just wandering through the smoke, gets caught out by Pasha, and suddenly that's the bomb down. That's them in control. Neo's in an awkward spot as well.
Yeah, but Getright knows he has a 1-on-1 at this bomb site. He's through checkers. He can kill the planter before the bomb goes down. Pasha falls, and that's exactly what Getright wanted. He turns up the heat when he knows he has that isolated fight, and now it's just the mind games. 2 of the biggest names in the old legends of Counter-Strike, and Getright. Oh, he's got the best read, and he's going to lurk all the way around Neo, who's come through vents. And that's exactly the path that Getright is going to take. Now he hears the footsteps as well. He can just bide his time. And Neo, he might get the bomb plant, but he's going to be stuck inside the site. There's going to be nowhere for him to go afterwards. And he's actually planning in the open if Getright's to swing from checkers. Not quite yet. And actually, that smoke, that actually denies a lot of intel towards Neo, but gives him another piece of cover to maneuver. And Neo, he's not going to be able to... Oh, he is! Gets on top of the box, and Getright, that smoke actually hindered him more.
And as you said, though, it was Getright having the read on it. He went around the world, let the plant happen to a degree. But as I said, the smoke, maybe not what you'd expect from that or want to see from that. But again, this is a bit of a glimmer back into what Getright got known for. These kind of brilliant plays of timing, these dashes of aggression, not necessarily the lurk element, but the characteristic style he has on the CT sides that is just absolutely awesome to watch. And A nice performance from him. And this is where everyone on NiP starts to look good, right? If Pitt's playing well in mid, he can exist being a very flexible player on the support, but yet having the impact. Maybe we're starting to see that real effect of threat there, where every bit of pressure's being relieved, but still, this is Virtus.Pro in a less than ideal form. And again, another 8 hit coming out. Get Right is already supported by Exist, playing up by Quad. Get Right's going to be up on the balcony this time. Exist bides his time in Quad, but can only do so much work. But no one's spotted out Get Right so far. And again, his positioning was absolutely prime. Bialy does find him, and the wall of smoke will allow the bomb plant to come in. But still, Frost finds one through the smoke and left in a 2v3.
Oh yeah, and oh my lord, nice shot from Taz. Low HP, he does eventually fall. There's still a Molotov to use, so Snacks could get flushed out of this position, but the Molotov bounces off the boxes. So he could still be back there, and NiP has to be very cautiously, and that smoke is going to allow for some cover. But he's got to use these to find a one-on-one. Looking around the left side now, Force entering into the bomb site. Snacks still in Quad. He swings out, he finds the first one, but he can't win the battle. Freiburg's going to get it. So that's going to be an easy defuse for NiP, and now it's just extra brutal. To pile onto everything. Force is actually 16-4 now, that's sick, but to pile onto everything, the money gets reset for Virtus.Pro, so they can't win 2 in a row. Now it's Neo who has 6,000, but everyone else is stuck very, very low, and they're just going to have to buy behind this AWP.
Moses, this could be a very, very, quick evening. I might have to go down the pub again at this rate.
Virtus.Pro is probably thinking the same thing.
Oh, now I feel awful. Thank you for making me feel mildly guilty. But anyway, let's look at this round and see what we've got coming up. Virtus.Pro, again, as you said, operating on very little at this point. Neo had the money at the start of the round, invested into the AWP. And when you're at 12-1, I guess you got to just go with it. And look at the paranoia from Taz then, like looking for Get Right, pushing into that smoke, like, where is he? I know you're going to be here. This time, though, takes a step back.
It's a very passive round from NiP as well. No one in that A bomb site whatsoever. Freiburg's going to drop another smoke over towards B. And this is just buying time, because as the AWP on Neo is the best chance that Virtus.Pro has to find an opening, they're giving him time to work with it, giving him time to look for picks. But he's been smoked out of B this whole time. Now he's going to rotate back over towards A, not going to be boosted up. And he's going to go for some success over at the A bomb site. And this actually might be his best chance, because Get Right is actually out in the open towards the spawn truck.
Let's see, Neo. I started to love watching him on the AWP, but it's not exactly had much presence today. That's a good beginning, though. Get Right now removed. They're going to have to look for the second one, which will be Exist. They know he's going to be here, but as to where was yet to be known, as Taz will fall to his hand, as there comes the mollies, and there comes the play off the back. Neo's got himself a good spot here in the smoke, but Pitt finds a second to operate, and he does it just perfectly. And look at this, Pitt's having a whale of a time, and now Pasha left in a 1v4.
Yeah, he can't even make a shot.
Yeah, he's not having a great time. I don't think anyone in Virtus.Pro is having a great time at 13-1.
Yeah, even with that opening pick, I mean, that's exactly what Virtus.Pro wanted, but Exist up top just kind of shuts down their dreams. The Molotov comes out to block them from...
Shuts down their dreams.
Well, he just drops a Molotov on the entrance into the bomb site, and he's like, cool, you guys got a kill. Can't pass through the fire, though. So now I'm going to buy times for everyone for NiP to get over here. Pitt's going to, give him 7 seconds to find some angles. Good stuff from NiP in this I mean, obviously in this half. It's 13-1, and it's all deagles for Virtus.Pro. This is all they have into the round.
This isn't nice to watch. Oh man. Well, who knows? Maybe there'll be a better time on Overpass. I'm not sure. Actually, the exciting thing for me is when I was talking to NiP a little bit, they did say that they were a little bit disappointed in their play previously on Overpass. They had more to bring on that, but here we go. Into this one Exist. Really nice dominance here, supporting on this A site. Being so flexible thus far as Freiburg's going to add one to his marker. As there we go, down to 3. Bialy's found Get Right, but at this point, it feels as though Virtus.Pro know this one's over, and they're playing as such.
We're going to have to find a lot more of those deeks, and Taz already brought down very, very low. Bialy can't land a second kill. He does find the M4. There goes Taz. The pistol of Exist. And actually, Pitt comes in just in time to bail Exist out of a rough battle. Pasha's the only one left on this deagle. A little bit blind, and he does get dropped by Forrest.
A rough battle. You're a kind soul at times. 14-1. A rough battle. Virtus.Pro. Oh, man. What can you say on that? That's the thing. They were just getting completely outdone.
Yeah, this is the thing, though. They have the map coming up next. I mean, let's say that there's still a slight possibility that they could come back in this, but let's just move on to the next map. where we say...
There's a chance. Let me just cover my ass and then let's go on to the next one.
But when you lose a half like this, 14-1, I mean, when they end up losing this map by a wide margin, it's one of those things that's very... It's going to be in their minds later tonight, but it's easy to go between maps and just reset. Just like, all right, we just got smacked. We got crushed. It's much easier to move on from that than, say, if like you had to battle into a comeback and you inch closer and closer and you get all invested into it and then you just fall short at the end. Those are the ones that are really hard to recover from.
Certainly are. So, as said, the one coming up after this will be Overpass. Virtus.Pro, no slouches on it generally. You do see them actually be able to put up some really good performances historically.
Well,
I always feel like I'm adding historically on these sentences.
Well, what's scary is historically, Virtus.Pro is a really good cash team as well.
I remember when Virtus.Pro was, was better than this.
Way back in the day. Stories you can tell.
The sad thing is, you're on HRTV, right? You know, they do like the stars for like, the big matchups and such. It's weird now when I look at it and I see like NiP against Virtus.Pro is like a 2-star game. You think of like the two teams and, you go back maybe a year or so and it's like, how the mighty have fallen. But NiP looking like they're coming back into this one. Get Right being made into the raid boss. He's going to be running the Tech 9 armor. That's being gifted over him by the ever so kind Freiberg, who's now going to supplement himself with the smoke. And it looks like we have a bit of a set play or a set piece coming up from NiP as they are just waiting to see what they have coming their way from Virtus.Pro now on the CT side.
Yeah, one smoke on Freiberg who's over towards the B bomb site as well as the bomb itself is there. So Forest and Pit are just kind of looking for any kind of aggression in mid. There's the spot from Neo, but that's not the bomb. They didn't want to show the bomb quite yet as Freiberg actually makes his way back towards mid. So they show towards B, and what they're hoping this does is pull at least a little bit of a rotation over towards that bomb site, maybe pull Pasha away, because now they're reconvening over towards mid. And Freiberg looks like he's getting prepared to... Nope, he's just going to go into its A main. So no one being boosted up. This is going to be an A hit, and no one from Virtus.Pro has even moved off this. And this is going to be a tough spot. Only one smoke to work with. That'll be for Highway. That might block Taz a little bit, but Bialy and Snacks are going to have plenty of time to do the damage.
Yeah, it's down to those two to really work something out here. Bialy has got a smoke himself, so maybe wondering if that's going to be a bit of a play coming out. But there we go. Bialy is the one to kind of trade this one out effectively until then. Get Right with the Tech 9 will catch out Bialy, and that means the A site is completely under NiP control. The retake, however, is now on. It's Pasha and Neo to try and work something out. You've got a bit of utility with Neo. You've got the armor there with Pasha, so Pasha going to pin down Pit towards the wall. Now Get Right playing it very patiently in the corner, but it's all on Neo. 1v2, edging his way, and he knows where at least one of these players is, but be able to catch out two here is going to be a bit of a uphill struggle. He's done well on the first. He's going to spot out the second. This is possible now. Neo switches up to the Tech 9, and he's got a shot. He's got himself the kitten. He's just going to go for it. Why not, I guess? 3 seconds. He's going to flash it out. Exist. He just gets him in time. 1 second left, and...
As the pop flash explodes as well, he does find it while blind. So nothing going right for Virtus.Pro there. That was actually a cool... So Get Right actually had a really good spot over at the forklift, but he goes into quad with Exist. So what he's hoping happens is that Exist gets that first kill. They know Exist is in quad. And when Neo comes into the site, if he kills Exist, he's like, all right, I got the quad guy. I'm not going to expect anyone there. So just doubling up. But Exist wasn't... I mean, the timing just didn't work out for when he was aggressive. Neo didn't spot him. So that doesn't work out in the fashion they wanted it to. Still went out in the end. But how very close. The story of Virtus.Pro on cash tonight.
How very close?
Those rounds in the beginning of the first half where...
oh, those ones?
Those ones.
I remember those back in my day. But 15-1, something that's not very close is the scoreline, sadly, as said.
Yes.
The rounds were pretty tense, and as we saw, the money never really built up for NiP at the start, but they still kind of worked their way through it. And then for Virtus.Pro, nothing going in their favor. A very lackluster play so far. But it's Taz in a bit of an interesting spot. He only has the P250, though. If he had something more, this could be quite interesting, actually, to see what he could do with it. But I don't know if NiP would consider him being able to cross to this point. I don't know who's been watching this, but no one's really checking it at the moment. Just spot out one, takes a couple of seconds on the shot, now sees more. So nice little kind of trade over there towards Forest too. He got down to 7 HP. That's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, I guess the follow-up thinking he actually could have gotten a second kill if the first one wasn't so hard to find. That's just the timing of it. Molotov slows down NiP. With the damage dealt, the kill onto Freiberg and the damage, they don't want to commit to this, but there's Neo. Swings out a little bit late, could get a second, and he does. Forest walks right into it, so the bomb is down. Pit and Exist, they have 30 seconds left. They have to find some kills out towards mid. This is going to be for Pit, but he's not ready for Bialy to be at that angle. All down to Exist, and Neo comes up with a huge round. 3 kills for him, all based off the intel and the damage that Taz does early on. But the second round, only the second round, goes in the way of Virtus.Pro.
But you got to see these are really nice individual plays. This is, you know, like Taz getting himself into that spot, or is it really nice? I don't know how NiP didn't see it. Maybe they didn't have a player watching the push early towards B, so he just snuck himself out there. Really well done, and of course the follow up then from Neo with the scout, really really impressive. But I just don't feel we've seen a collective effort from Virtus.Pro yet. So again, if you can keep depending on the individual kind of swing outs in performance, cool. But I feel as though eventually at 2-15, it can only last so long. But let's see how close Virtus.Pro can take this one, if at all. We do see the lineup here, the pop flash to allow them in. And Snax was pretty blind here, and Pit has just gone and smashed Neo. And actually, Pit has been one of those players who's actually very good with the deagle, but Snax doing great damage here. Going to put down the molly, that's going to tickle a little, but the bomb is now planted, and they've suddenly got only 2 players to overcome. How the hell did Virtus.Pro just lose 3 players in the blink of an eye?
Yeah, they just got swarmed off the back of that first kill. Molotov comes out from Dialli, trying to spray through the smoke. He does get hit with the scout from Get Right. Now, yeah, this is going to be so difficult. Taz up top, he can't even win the battle. Freiburg takes him out in Dialli, 28 HP, just has left to run out and get slaughtered coming out of vents. A dominant would be an understatement, but a dominant win out of NiP.
That's really grim, if I'm honest. That's not the game that I wanted to turn up and watch today. At least for the first map, that's Cash, done and dusted. On the horizon, however, will be Overpass. That's the one going to be following up off the back of this, but to kind of, I guess, review that a little bit. Is there very briefly, is there any benefits we can pull from that for Virtus.Pro, or was it just a thrashing?
That was just a thrashing.
However, for NiP, there are some good benefits there. You said the CT side had a lot to look towards, and
yeah, and it shows adjustment. It looked really, really good in how they were, all of them being very aggressive, very like keen to get into fights when the executions did come in from Virtus.Pro. They were very aggressive on their rotations to make sure they're there in time, and actually not only just there, but swinging out and being active in the fights to prevent them from getting into the bomb site. So actually, I mean, Virtus.Pro just straight up got denied a lot of times. The first 6 rounds were okay for Virtus.Pro in the sense that they were getting kills, getting the bomb planted, but they always had NiP on that edge, and then once the money just kind of ballooned out of control, it was all downhill.
So, after what was a thrilling close game, I can't wait to hear what the analysis have to say about that one.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I heard that Kubon just got rushed to hospital, actually, because he facepalmed that hard by those bomb plants in the open.
Yeah.
We were watching it and just like, why is it there? Why is it there? Like round after round, it was like, why did he just plant there? Why is he planting for this situation?
Yeah, even the one round they did get this game, it almost blew up because Pasha decides to just plant completely in the open with Neo nowhere around him.
Yeah.
With Get Right in between. It's just nothing made sense to that. VP are playing like, at best matchmaking level team. They're just absolutely horrible.
The one round they got on the T side was basically because Get Right kind of did himself with the smoke. I mean, outside of that, him and Neo in that straight one-on-one, it could have been a 15-0 first half. I mean, 14-1's no better, but yeah, that's just, I mean, considering it was Cash, that's a map that VP are, like, they know. They know, like, back of their hand. They know a lot of strategies. They know a lot of set plays. Yeah, no, you didn't see any set plays there, though.
Well, a lot of the times, or in the past, we've seen VP. Everybody's known what VP are going to do. They're going to focus heavily on doing mid control, and then at a later stage, they started mixing it up with actually doing, focusing a lot towards the B bomb side, and then splitting up B through mid and that type of thing. And they're kind of going through the same motions now. They wanted very early on to grab mid control a lot, but they just couldn't do it. And before, you knew what VP were doing, but you could still not stop it. At this point, they're just lying down. So it's like they're waving the white flag. And I guess we humored the thought that they might step up and try to avoid auto relegation. But at this point, I don't see why they would even be in the league. Like they're just gonna get stomped on.
Well, this is the danger sometimes of. When you're out in the wild, right?
Here we go.
You're going through the forest, right? And sometimes, you always have to be really careful about where you're putting your feet because, it can be boggy, marshy, right? Mud, right? And sometimes, you come across this poor beast, in this case a bear, and they're just wallowed down in it, and they can't get out, right? They're struggling mightily.
So you're trying to lend a hand?
And so, basically what I'm trying to get to here is that NiP, merciful hunters that they were, they just put them out of their misery.
Poor little polar bear spotted.
Get Right. It's just like, actually, it's kind of cold over here in Sweden. I need a new coat.
Is that how you got your coat?
Is that where it came from?
No, I thought you were going to go the other way around with the mighty bear of NiP. Being stuck in a rut for a while. VP having been a lot higher up than NiP, trying to give them a helping hand, and then they just get mauled instead.
No, this is much more of the case of like the ninja, NiP, they were actually up in the trees, right? You know, on a branch watching Virtus.Pro. And then they figured, okay, it's time to put them
until they make them
put them out of their misery.
The irony is the one win they have in the league was over Envy, who are coming up next. But I guess we should have foresaw the changes that may be afoot when they lost that game, when VP were basically being trounced by everyone. Envy came along and made them look good in that one game at Cobblestone. But yeah, rough first game. Not a great deal to talk about. We are going to be going over to the second map, of course. But before you do that, check out the Score Esports app. And of course, check it out. You can get it on Google Play or iOS. Have the score stats and articles on, well, the Intel Extreme Masters just happened, maybe ESL's Pro League as well. I'm sure you'll see more in there. Overpass is the next map, guys. Join us for that in a second.